Welcome to WOD right here on a Saturday. It is getting very close. We are on the countdown. Yes, the countdown, the final countdown for Crown Jewel, where somebody will be crowned the Crown Jewel champion. And of course, if you go back a few episodes of WOD, you can hear my takes on it. I may jump back into a quick version of that when we make these Crown Jewel picks on WOD today, but a jam-packed show, a lot to talk about. We're going to jump in the time machine, go back to 1992 SummerSlam, and take a trip a year after that, to 1993 Halloween Havoc. Yes, Halloween has passed. Trick or treat is over. I'm dressed up as the Brooklyn Brawler right here on WOD. Let's get ready for a jam-packed Saturday edition of WOD. Welcome back to WOD. To start this edition off this Saturday, I was really going to hammer in on a promotion that I was very, very upset with right here in the Carolinas. But after a few days festering and thinking on it, why give them the time of day on my show to harp on their low performance and to give them a light where people may say, well, let me go check them out. Why do that on my show? So I said, you know what? We're not going to do it. We're just going to put it in the past. Of course, if you know about it, we already had discussions offline about it, but we're going to put it in the past. But let's jump into some stuff for WOD that happened this week. Then we're going to jump into Time Machine, then make these picks for Crown Jewel. What a great Monday Night Raw right here we got on this Monday night. When you saw Jimmy and Jay, Jimmy showing up to Raw. And guess what WWE is doing right now? They're sprinkling those little seeds, getting things lined up for Sammy Uso to return to the bloodline. Very good storytelling. Jimmy and Jay, you had Sammy telling Jay, this is not your fight no more. You don't have to do this. You're your own man. You made your own way. You made your own way. You found your own path. How many times we had our friends tell us that you don't need to get back involved with this group of people. You found your own way and made your own path. So that's what we saw. Jay wanted to still talk to Sammy, him and Jimmy. Wanted to just talk to Sammy. Jimmy still was a little skeptical because he did not like the kind of moves Sammy pulled. But when they go talk to Sammy, in the background, right above them, you see Jimmy has pretty much scoped the scene out and saw that Sammy's having a conversation with Solo. And somebody brought out a good point that during the Bloodline run when Sammy was the honorary Uso, him and Jimmy were tight. Of course, we knew Jay was the alpha dog, right hand man, main event Jay Uso, who just had a attitude problem and did not want Sammy in. To finally at War Games, at Survivor Series War Games, he got in, and when he got in, he got in. But Solo was always a guy who endorsed Sammy. And if you pull back and go back, and I did that the other day, just kind of went back and watched a lot of those Bloodline promos when Sammy was getting started, patched in, full-fledged honorary Uso. Him and Solo had good chemistry together. So I like the way that you saw them talking and you saw enough action to not think that, hey, Sammy's not disagreeing with Solo saying. He's not agreeing. He's just listening. And what was the key thing Roman said when Sammy became an honorary Uso that night on that SmackDown? Listen, Sammy, you gotta listen to me. That's your problem. I told you take the shirt off. You wouldn't take it off. Jay ripped it off. If you would have took it off, Jay would have never ripped it off, which Jay didn't know that was going to happen, but Jay ripped it off. and they made him the honorary Uce, gave him a shirt that says Sami Zayn, honorary Uce. Key points right there. You just talk about good storytelling with this program, with this storyline. Every minute it gets dull, they find a way to just pump life back into it. Bringing in the Tongans, GOD, bringing in Jacob Fatu, the GOD's their younger brother, Akilo. He's luring around somewhere, waiting for his interest to get into the storyline. You got the cousin who's pretty much stopped doing a lot of indie deals, got some things going on the personal side that he's trying to get correct. But as soon as that is done, he's going to be interjected into the storyline. The final boss counts to interject the storyline. It's just so much they still can do and tell the story, and you can have Roman go on this hot babyface run, become the tribal chief, and switch him right back to Cody for him to take the title from Cody. Or have Jacob Fatu win it. Have Roman take it from Fatu. Now, I would not like to see that. I think if Fatu won it, he needs to keep it for a while. So, just a lot they're doing this storyline. Just impeccable storytelling every week as they add on to it. Then you had a hot NXT. Another hot NXT coming off a hot Halloween Havoc trick or treat. For people I tell them just as the Brooklyn Brawler today. Trick or treat to everybody who had a great Halloween, nice, successful Halloween in your area. Then you had a good NXT. And you had to end how it needed to be. They're going back to Philadelphia next week to the old ECW arena where memories were made. RVD wants a match. Would not mind seeing him and what's my guy name? Jaquan. He's right out here out of the Carolinas. Would not mind seeing both of them tied up in a match. That would probably be a good match. But knowing RVD, knowing WWE, well, hoping I know WWE the way I know him, I'm hoping that RVD gets kind of a squash match that he can squash somebody. I hope it's somebody that, if he beats him, it's not going to hurt him. You put him against Javon. If Javon takes the L, that hurts his momentum as a young star. So I hope it's just somebody in the PC they can throw out that RVD, give RVD a good win right there in the ECW arena, get everybody to pop ECW, and send the people home happy. Now, we got a running bet going on right now with me, Podcast Smitty, and my main man, Mouthing Off with Mike, both my two good brothers, my main man, Podcast Smitty, and my main man, Mouthing Off with Mike. We all said, who do you think we're going to see next Tuesday night on NXT? Now, we all said we're going to see Bubba. We know that. We said RVD. We all said RVD. We know that. Now, we also got some other people they said. I think Podcast Smitty said RVD. I think my off with Mike said, I believe he said you will see Bubba. I said the safe bet would be Devon. Now, wild cards are who I'm looking for. Would they do it? No, my off with Mike said Paul Heyman. You definitely see Paul Heyman. Wild cards are who I am looking for. I believe my off with Mike did not say he said Paul Heyman, but I believe his pick was Tommy Dreamer. So we definitely know we'll see Dreamer there. Wild cards are who we are looking for with this ECW return back to Philadelphia. Some people I would like to see if you're going to do a reunion. We're going to go with the people that we may can see. Then the ones that you probably say, okay, they're not going to pull the trigger on that one. They're not going to do that. We're not on Netflix yet. So the people that we're safe with, Devon Dudley, definitely. Spike Dudley. I think they would do a Dudley Boys reunion there. And you can't have Devon come and not have Spike come. So Spike Dudley probably would be there. Hardcore Holly. Be good to see him come back. Don't know where he's kind of at with WWE right now. Not an ECW legend, Bob Holly, during the heyday ECW in the 90s when we was watching it. But in the return of ECW, when it got bought out by WWE, he kind of appeared on the program. So Bob Holly may be one of the ones. Hardcore Holly would be good to have him come back. Hey, the guy's name was Hardcore Holly. Another one you probably would see was an ECW champ, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame more in the WWE end of the run, But you've got to remember he was ECW heavyweight champ. So Mark Henry's one of those guys you probably would see. Another guy I wouldn't mind seeing, Shane Douglas. Could they bring the franchise back to ECW for one night? Shane would be a good guy to bring. Then you start thinking about guys that you know you may could see. Steve Corino, that's a definitely probably could see him pop up. He works at the PC Center, so you'll see Steve there. Trying to think, Rhino wouldn't be there because he's over there in TNA. That's kind of well, take that back. TNA and NXT have this working relationship. Rhino will show up. They may do a Rhino appearance. I will take that back. I forgot about the working relationship just that quick. Rhino's somebody you definitely could probably see pop up that night. Let's see who else we can think of in our ECW. Because I'm trying to go off with Mick Foley, definitely Mick Foley. CM Punk would not be surprised if Punk shows up. A lot of people forget that he did not have a big run in ECW, but when WWE had acquired ECW's assets, Punk did have a little run in ECW. Let's see who else you could probably get. I don't think the Hardys from TNA. Don't think the TNA wants to send the Hardys over there. That would be a good move they done, but don't think they would do it. Steve Austin, would Stone Cold come? And that's a good question. A lot of people forget his run in ECW. He talks about how ECW, after WCW, his failed WWE run, went to ECW, then back to WWE as the ringmaster. How ECW kind of helped rejuvenate and restart his career, and kind of Paul Heyman kind of got him refreshed, help him get his bearings back. Would he come to an ECW NXT show? That's a big question mark. Because when you generally think of Stone Cold, you think of the Texas Rattlesnake WWE run. Don't think he would do the ECW show, but got a shout out. He did have a good run in ECW. So we got Dreamer, we got Hardcore Holly, we got Mark Henry, we got the franchise Shane Douglas. Let's see who else. We Chavo Guerrero. I thought about that. Eddie had a good run in ECW. Why not bring Chavo back, who had a decent run in ECW? Why not bring him back to honor his Uncle Eddie's legacy? You can't have Eddie. Of course, we know Eddie's gone from us, but you can have Chavo there. Hey, had a chance to meet Chavo. Real nice guy, man. Real nice guy. Had a great conversation with Chavo up here in the Carolinas on a house show one time. So Chavo's somebody I can mind seeing come back. Who's another person? That is about the only ones I could think that we could pull off. You could probably throw Rey Mysterio, do a pop-up. He had a little ECW run when it was bought in the WWE era, so Rey Mysterio could pop up. Now, here are the people I wouldn't mind seeing, but I know WWE wouldn't do it. Raven. Talk about a guy who went to ECW, went from being Johnny Polo in WWF as the Quebecers manager, a guy who could wrestle, but WWF back at that time in the 90s wouldn't give him a chance. Went to ECW and just changed everything. His demeanor, his character, became Raven, probably one of the greatest of all time in ECW. Great TV run, great ECW title run. He just he was the embodiment of ECW, especially after all those guys like RVD, Sabu, and them started kind of phasing out. Raven was that him and the franchise was that new breed of ECW that came in that kept that life going. Would love to see Raven, even if he didn't do a match, even if he was just there. Would love to see him on the show. But that's one of those ones, it's a hard possibility. How is his agreement with WWE right now? Are the feelings still mutual? Do they still communicate? Does he talk to Triple H? Does he talk to people like Paul? Well, we know, of course, still talks to Paul Heyman, but does he talk to enough people in the back? Brother Love, does he talk to them to be able to come and just pop up? Sometimes you ain't even got to speak. You could just be seen and they flash your name with her. So Raven's one of those guys. He's my biggest question mark because I could say yay or nay that we could see him. Now we start getting to the people we know we're definitely not going to see. Sabu, Heart and Soul ECW. Cannot do an ECW show in Philadelphia without having Sabu. Heart and Soul ECW. He's one of those ones I don't think we're going to see. I don't think WWE wants to bring back Sabu. WWE now is kind of starting to head towards a more edgy era. So not being on Netflix yet, I don't think you want the younger fan base to go back and watch some of these wild Sabu matches. Now you're gonna have Mick Foley there, Cactus Jack, so they got that, and they will go back and watch that. They probably would, you can't do ECW without honoring the legend himself who's gone, Terry Funk. Definitely got to do something for Terry Funk that night. If they just shout his name out, got to do something for Funk. But that kind of same question. If you're gonna talk about Funk and you're gonna talk about Cactus Jack, Sabu's right there in that conversation. He's somebody we definitely won't see, but would be very nice if they mention something about him. Another person who we won't see, who I wouldn't mind seeing, man, if they could put down, they did this. I promise that may be the highest rating NXT show we ever had. If we hear that Metallica Enter the Sandman song, if we hear that guitar riff at the beginning and that camera starts searching around and you see the Sandman over there with a kendo stick and a Budweiser knocking down a couple beers, a lot of people remember. A lot of people forgot. Before Stone Cold was cracking beers in the ring after matches, Sandman was doing it before his match. He was drinking 4 or 5 beers and smoking a Newport on the way to the ring. That's what got the Sandman over, because we all look at him as he's one of us. He's just a beer drinking, cigarette smoking, come in here and want to kick your tail type of guy. Will we see the Sandman? No, we will not see the Sandman. I do not feel like NXT does on the CW album, on the CW channel, want to really push the limit with the Sandman. That's kind of like having Abdullah the Butcher come. They're not gonna have a Do the Butcher show over there because so many of his matches with so much blood and violence, they don't want people going back looking that up. So we kind of done marked out Sabu, we marked out the Sandman, we marked out Abdullah the Butcher. So who else will we not see? Man, I know they're not gonna do this. And this is who I said if they did this, I would say we're going to Netflix. If you watch the nightcap after the Halloween Havoc breakdown, as if they did this, we're definitely going to Netflix first thing in the morning. They're not gonna do it. They're not bringing New Jack back. But back. If that Dr. Dre came on in that arena, and most people who are going to be at this show is going to be old school ECW fans, like the guys on the Boom Broadcasting. We're older guys. We remember ECW in the 80s. So you got to remember when New Jack came out with the grocery cart with all the weapons in it, that Dr. Dre playing. What was my Dr. Dre song used to come out? No. It was Real MF and G's, Dr. Dre and Eazy and them. When that came out, you already knew what time it was. New Jack was in town. And New Jack took some of the craziest bumps in ECW. It's pure madness that this guy still can walk the way he can walk. Because you knew New Jack was going to dive off the balcony every night. You knew on a premium live event, if New Jack was fighting, he's diving off the balcony. So he's one of the people we definitely won't see. New Jack's got a lot of stuff going on. Now, Shannon did mention another person we wouldn't mind seeing that I could see WWE pulling him there. He's had a lot of heat with WWE recently because things he said about the company on podcasts. But could they mend the fence just to have Two Cold Scorpio? A lot of people forget. They remember him as Flash Funk in WWE. Two Cold Scorpio was the heart and soul of ECW. Before we had Rob Van Dam doing all those aerial moves, Two Cold Scorpio was doing that. So he's another person that if things worked out, especially with Shawn Michaels at the heel, remembering a lot of these guys wrestling in the era during a lot of these guys are in ECW, you could see a Two Cold Scorpio show up on this event right here. Now, another person that you probably could see show up in the crowd, probably won't have a mic moment, but definitely I could see WWE reaching out to him. A lot of talent before they get to the PC starts in OVW, which WWE had. Ohio Valley Wrestling started there. You got to remember, a lot of the greats now that's kind of in that last stage of wrestling, the Batistas, the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, all of them come from Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin. All of them come from OVW. Who's running OVW now? Al Snow. Would not be surprised if you saw Al Snow show up at this show. Now, who's somebody who I think needs to be there, but they're not going to call him? Just incredible. He's somebody I think if they could get him there, it would be good. But I don't see them bringing Just Incredible to this show right here just because of the baggage you'll get. Now, if you're going to do an RVD match and you're going to do it right, you got to bring back one more person. That's Bill Alfonso. I would not be surprised if they do it right. And knowing Michaels, taking it back to ECW, gonna have Paul Heyman somewhere in the ECW arena, gonna have Paul Heyman somewhere in the backgrounds, kind of, overshadowing this because Michael's gonna want this to be one of the best shows on the CW, be one of the most viewed NXT shows on the CW network. So if you're gonna have RVD, you gotta have Bill Alfonso. I could see them doing that for the RVD match, having Bill Alfonso come out as his manager. And if Bill Alfonso comes out, we better hear that whistle. Because that whistle pretty much meant it was time for RVD to hit the Van Terminator, the Van Daminator, or hit the 5-star Frog Splash. So we got to see that. Now, another person you may could see would be Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn's somebody I can see them bringing back just to do not a one-off, just to be in the crowd. A lot of these people I'm just talking about are going to be crowd people who are not going to have a speaking part that night. You're just going to see them in the crowd, probably see them wave, throw their name up, and read some of the accolades. Now we're getting down to the final ones who I think you can see. Hey, Lance Storm is in good graces with WWE. Lance Storm, we may can go ahead and pencil him in to be seen at that show. Wouldn't be surprised if he's backstage, and he is somebody who gets to speak. Lance Storm does not recently, since I heard some of his last couple episodes of his podcast, not up to speed like I used to be when I was listening to it very strongly. But back then, Lance Storm, one of these people, he does not hammer on WWE. Now, when WWE does something wrong, he'll call it out with storytelling or where a match went, he'll call it out. But he's one of those guys who I think is still on the good side of WWE that you probably could pencil in to see at this ECW reunion show, and which is NXT, but it's going to turn into an ECW reunion show that you would see is him. Now, one person you won't see because of obligation to AEW, two people you won't see because of obligation to AEW is Chris Jericho. And you won't hear Jericho's name mentioned because the reason why I'm saying that is because Jericho, they were talking about Intercontinental title with Braun Breaker the night he fought Jey Uso and won the second time. They were talking about the most people had won it. You had the Miz name up there. You had Gunther's name up there for the longest reigning. A lot of people forget that Jericho holds the record for most Intercontinental Championships in WWE. And they went on to even talk about people who are in other promotions but did not mention Jericho's name one time. And I was very shocked about that WWE didn't want to mention Jericho. Yes, he's in the rival company AEW, but they have mentioned other people in AEW for their accomplishments. I mean, hell, Claudio is in AEW, and they talked about he was the inaugural Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. So, was shocked about that. So I don't think you hear Jericho's name. Another person name you won't hear will be Taz. Taz, another one of those guys, heart and soul of ECW. His name should be mentioned that evening, but I don't think they're going to step out there. If Paul Heyman has something to do with it, you may hear Jericho's name drop. You may hear Taz's name drop. But if he's not nowhere around and he's just present, you won't hear his name drop. Taz, one of those guys, should get that recognition for what he was able to do for ECW and to put that show and that promotion on his back. Because a lot of people remember it was a time where ECW started declining. That's when RVD and Taz stepped up. Sabu, they stepped up and carried that promotion to the next level for more talent to come in. Lastly, you will not hear any one of their names mentioned on the programming, but they're in the Hall of Fame, in the ECW arena, in there. They got to show the banner. WWE, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And who do you got to mention? You got to mention, to me, arguably, besides the Dudley Boys, the second greatest tag team in ECW. That is Public Enemy. That is my two guys, Flyboy, Rocco Rock, and who else but Johnny Grunge. Public Enemy, they're in the Hall of Fame in ECW. You got to mention Flyboy, Rocco Rock. You got to mention Johnny Grunge. Those guys reinvented tag wrestling, and they were doing the stuff. The Dudleys were doing the violent stuff, 3Ds to on fire tables. These guys were the one who brought everybody up to speed on the double-decker table drop. I had never seen that done till I saw these guys in ECW. And a lot of people forget Flyboy Rocco Rock could wrestle. Johnny Grunge was the bruiser of the group, but Flyboy could really go. And a lot of people always say, I still say this to this day, Flyboy was gone too soon. Same thing with Johnny Grunge. If Flyboy could have had a chance to go on a singles run, this guy probably could have held a singles title. A lot of people always remember he was a tag title, NWA tag champ, ECW tag champ, WCW tag champ, got to WWF, never won in WWF, didn't stick around too long because they didn't like the guy's style. They didn't like what they did with the double-decker tables, wanting to use tables a lot. You know, Christian Edge, Dudley Boys, Hardys were already doing that, bringing in Public Enemy during that time frame. Too many people want to do table spots. So they kind of was the ones who got washed out. Christian Edge, WWE guys, Hardy Boys, WWE guys, Dudley Boys, arguably the greatest tag team in the professional sports wrestling beside the Midnights, the Rock and Rolls, the Harlem Heats, Steiner Brothers. The Dudley Boys were right there in that category, LOD, you know, they're right in that category, all of them. So the Public Enemy kind of got washed out from WWE in their time. But they got to mention Public Enemy. You got to mention Johnny Grunge. You got to mention Flyboy Rocco Rock. And I'm telling you, somebody in NXT, if there's going to be a tag match, Michael always say paying homage to their childhood hero, paying a vintage homage to their childhood hero. If somebody in NXT, if you're watching WOD, turn this up right now. For all the old school ECW fans like us, if you want to make us feel great that night, come out in a hockey jersey, throw your hands up, wave side to side like Public Enemy, and put somebody through a table. And then, or either come out with a hat turned back was like Public Enemy did, and put somebody through a table, and we would know that you're paying homage to Public Enemy, to the great Johnny Grunge and Flyboy Rocco Rock. So those are my picks. Who's going to be at the ECW show? We don't know. Hey, none of these people can show up. That's why we got a platform right here, just so we can fantasy book. Hey, don't forget, drop your comments in the box below who you think will show up at the ECW NXT show as they return. NXT returns to Philadelphia. Shout out to Bully Ray, because Bully Ray could have really been in that match. He's going to get some way involved with the show next week, but I like that he pretty much set aside and said, no, Trick, it's your time. I had my time. A lot of old wrestlers would not do it. Bully Ray's still in good shape where he could go, but a lot of guys would say, hey, you know, we're going back to my home, the place that I built. Yeah, I'm going to be on this show. Yeah, I'm going to be in the main event. But Bully Ray kind of said, no, Trick, it's your time. So, hey, shout out to Bully Ray right there. Some people get it. Some people get it. We're not going to dial back to what the first segment was, but some people get it. All right, before we make some picks, let's jump in the time machine and let's head back for two matches that I want to talk about. Then we're going to make some picks. So let's go to SummerSlam 1992. Arguably, if you watch WOD, Out of Pocket, Quick Hits, Drop the Mic, Nightcap, all the shows I've been on, we talk about wrestling. I got some matches that's always my favorite matches. Of course, I tell everybody, the greatest match I ever seen as a wrestling fan was WrestleMania 25, Michaels versus Taker 1. Arguably the greatest match. Arguably now the second greatest match I seen was Cody and Roman, number 2, when Cody finished the story. Great storytelling, built all the way. Talk about the best two matches I see. Seen great tag matches, Harlem Heat, Rock and Roll Express. Seen Midnight Express, great tag matches right there. I've seen a lot of wrestling growing up from where I'm at now to where I began. Hey, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, no one else was in my Mount Rushmore. Flair and Steamboat, another one. Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage, another one. The night, and we won't mention his name on this show, he turned heel and joined the NWO. Hardly another one of the greatest matches I've seen. So I've seen a lot of matches. But one of the matches I want to go back to is on SummerSlam 1992. And that was the first time that the backstage production in WWF at that time, which is WWE now, decided to do something out of the box. And I tell people it's one of the best matches to go back and watch. Two guys that was at the peak. Rick Martel, the model back then, the model Rick Martel, arguably one of the greatest technical wrestlers to ever come from WWE. And he was a Texas guy, started around AWA territory, got up to WWE to the main roster. Also was a tag specialist. Versus another person who came from that Texas AWA wrestling, was a tag specialist, Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, come from the Rockers. A lot of people forget about Martel and Tito Santana had a great tag team back then. It was the first time WWE decided, WWF at that time, decided to do a heel versus heel match. So that's why I always tell people it's one of the best matches I like to go back and watch because you had two guys that were heels that was fighting for Sensational Sherry's attention and love, for her to be their valet, her manager. She was Michael's manager, but throughout the storyline, she kind of started flirting with the model. She started helping the model out. The model started having her come to some of the matches and watch some of his matches. So it was good storytelling back there for that time frame of what fans wanted. And for two guys that were heels, the fans didn't know who to cheer for. But the turning point of the match was neither one of them wanted to hit each other in the face. That was the stipulation that Sensational Sherry put on the match. That you guys can beat each other up, but neither one of you can hit each other in the face. And it got to the point where they got ready to punch each other in the face. Sherry faints on the side of the ring. Both of them have a conniption because they're trying to get her medical attention. And so now the fight continues on as who's going to take Sherry to the doctor in the medical room. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Michaels. It's going to be the model Rick Martel. To finally, Martel throws water on Sherry, trying to revive her, while Michaels is holding her. Michaels drops her. Martel takes off running. Michaels is chasing behind her because he's hot because Martel threw water on him. Sherry's left out on the aisle by herself, screaming, a nervous wreck. And the fans come out of this match saying nobody won the match. We didn't know who to cheer for. But at the end of the day, Sherry was the winner because we got to laugh at Sherry because she caused this chaos, caused this confusion with both of these competitors. And guess what? She ended up having the water thrown on her while both of them were going in the back still fighting. So she was left out here by herself and walked out of the ring with nobody to be her manager, to be a valet for. Arguably one of the greatest storytelling matches. I want to say Bruce Pritchard produced that match. When I went back and did some research on it, I believe that was a Bruce Pritchard's match, and that was also a Pat Patterson's produced match. Arguably one of the greatest matches these two guys produced on the show. We're having the first time that WWF decided to step out of the box and do a heel versus heel match. So jump in the time machine, jump on the WWE Network, jump on YouTube, wherever you need to go. If you got the VHS tape up in the attic like I do, go up in the attic, blow some dust off of it, blow some dust off that VCR up there in the attic, pop in that tape, or if you got on DVD, pop in that DVD, blow some dust off of it, and watch that match. And just watch the storytelling build up to the end, and watch a masterpiece between Pritchard's and Pat Patterson and what they put together in this match. Now we could not jump in the time machine. And we're going to be doing this periodically on WOD. We could not jump in the time machine without going and doing a spin the wheel match. Because we just had Halloween Havoc. We had 3 spin the wheel matches last Sunday on Halloween Havoc with NXT. So we could not leave out doing a spin the wheel match. And I talked about the first spin the wheel match, which was Jake Roberts versus Sting in the Coal Miners Glove match on WOD last week. So now we're going to talk about the 93 spin the wheel match, which was Vader, who was at a great run. Coming from New Japan, arguably one of the biggest big men ever in WWE, probably in the greatest of all time, in the top 5 big men. Him and Bam Bam Bigelow were the top 2 of big men that could move, could do stuff. Hey, and when you think about them two, I always tell people, if you like Jacob Fatu and you like the stuff he can do at the weight size he's at, he's only doing what Vader and Bam Bam did and just doing it at an even higher echelon of a degree right now than what those two guys were doing. But go back, watch some Vader stuff, watch some Bam Bam Bigelow stuff, and you definitely will see a lot of stuff that Fatu does comes from their book. So we decided to go to Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal number 2. In 93, Cactus Jack versus Vader. WCW heavyweight title was not on the line at that time. Vader was the champ. Cactus Jack was in the Harley Race family. It was Harley Race as the manager of Cactus Jack, Vader, and Mr. Hughes. They turned on Cactus. Cactus became a babyface, got over with the fans, wanted his revenge on Vader. What way better do it for Cactus than the style of match that Cactus strives best in, a Texas death match. Another good match right here because you got to see a lot of Vader. Cactus got the first fall. Cactus got the second fall, and then Vader just cleaned house and ran through Cactus. And Cactus did what you're supposed to do with a guy like Vader. He bumped for Vader. A lot of people didn't like the wrestle Leon. Go back. If you definitely hear Shawn Michaels, he'll tell you when he was doing those house shows with Vader, man, Vader would make him pay for some of the stuff he did on the road. I heard Michaels talk about it on many podcasts that if he could go back in time and some stuff he did to wrestlers on the road, being that he was the top guy and could not get in trouble, he would not have done it. He said, because when he had to wrestle Vader on house shows, he said Vader would tear him up just for that type of stuff. But great match right here. Vader won. Vader ended up beating him after Harley Race got Cactus Jack's attention. Another good match. We saw a Vader bomb. We saw Vader salt. Saw it all in this match. Seen Vader do some Cactus do some type of, it ain't a Cactus Jack Mick Foley match without him going through some type of crazy bump. So we saw all of that. We saw ring steps, everything in this match. Another good match. So this week, jumping the time machine, SummerSlam 92, the model Rick Martel versus Shawn Michaels. Then Halloween Havoc, WCW 93, spin the wheel, make the deal. Texas Death Match, Big Van Vader. He wasn't Vader then. He was Big Van Vader versus Cactus Jack. Those are my two matches this week in the Jumping in the Time Machine segment on WOD. Now we're out of the time machine. We're back in the present day. So we got to make some picks. So we're going to start in the middle and work our way around. Let's start with the Crown Jewel Women's Champion, lineage belt, leaner belt, whatever they want to call it. I say I went on this soapbox rant a couple weeks ago. Boxing has a lineal champion, and that lineal champion is recognized as a champion by the Ring Magazine. He's their champ. This is what WWE should have done with this Crown Jewel belt. If you're going to reward the man or the woman that wins this match with this belt, then make them the lineal champ. They're the champ of their promotion, and they're the lineal champ. So now that when they fight somebody, both titles are on the line, the lineal champ and this title. Don't give me a title to just go home and put on my trophy case like the NWA belt. Make this belt mean something, but that's another day, another dollar, another story. Maybe on the day cap or the night cap after the show of Crown Jewel. So let's start with Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. I'm going Nia Jax on this one. I think Nia has to win. They want to continue to keep that momentum. They don't want Tiffany to cash in over there in Saudi Arabia. That would not be good because, right now women have to be fully clothed in the match. And I'm not saying they want to do that, but they want Tiffany to cash in on a bigger pay-per-view like a Survivor Series, like a Royal Rumble, one of those. So Nia wins, no cash in from Tiffany. I don't think they want to give a cash in on the show overseas. I think they want to do that back over here on American soil on one of the big fours. So Nia wins the Crown Jewel Women's Championship. Now you got Seth freaking Rollins versus Bronson Reed. This is a self match to win. If Bronson wins this match, I'm shocked. I am shocked. It's self match to win. It's Self's welcome back match. Good match. Self should get, Bronson's going to get the upper hand on him, but Self should get it. Randy Orton KO. It's KO match to win. Sorry, Randy. I'm a Randy guy. Pick Randy every time. If you want to make KO your next guy for Cody, since Cody's kind of out of the bloodline cycle vortex, still in the bloodline cycle vortex. If you want to make Cody, if you want to give Cody the next opponent, it's got to be KO. KO wins this match. Our next match, LA Knight, the U.S. champ versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. You can't take the belt off LA Knight yet. Started feeling like he had a little heel style in the way he put both of them in the BFT last Friday night on SmackDown. Well, 2 Friday nights ago on SmackDown. But you can't take the belt off of him right now. He's still the hottest act on SmackDown behind Cody. He's still a fan favorite. To me, he's still cutting the best promos Whenever you give this man a microphone and give him a spotlight, he hits a home run. Got to keep it on LA Knight for the win. Now to the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Match. I hate Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Matches. They are an abysmal of a waste of time when you have these type of matches. Just give Jade and Bianca one-on-one tag traditional style wrestling matches with a tag team. So now you're gonna have Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Damage Control, Kiara Sane, Io Sky, Metal Ford, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven all fighting for the tag belts. We saw this happen with Bianca and Jay in that triple threat style tag match. They should walk out this one as champs. I think this was just a way to get all the ladies on the show. Let's stuff them all in a match. You don't have to do that. You can have Bianca take on Damage Control, her Jade take on Damage Control. You can have Metal Ford take on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven for a number one contenders match. That can be your opening match to set up another match on SmackDown or NXT or Raw with whoever wins that match. You don't have to cluster everybody into one match to just say we got all the ladies on and we had a great night. No, if you're going to book it right. Make it mean something. Jade and Bianca walk out as champs. We're not going to spend no more time on that. Now down to the two main events. And this will not be the main event because, of course, Gunther and Cody is our main event. Roman Reigns and the Usos. Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0 versus Solo, Tama, and Tonga Low. And or Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu could get pulled this match and they could pull Tonga Low out. This is going to end in a no DQ match. They're not going to let nobody win. Roman already beat Solo and Jacob with Cody. This match right here, they're not going to let nobody win this match. It's going to end in a DQ. We should see somebody else from Solo's bloodline, and this should pretty much set up Sammy coming to make the save. No, we don't want Sammy to make the save on this program. Not on this one. No, yes, we do. Yes, we do. I forgot all about Sammy's culture, his heritage. They're going to pop. They are going to pop. Sammy's going to make the save on this one. I can see Sammy making the save on this one. This is Sammy's night. If not, you better do it in Canada. Or you better do it in America somewhere very soon. But make Sammy make the save. No DQ this match. Nobody wins this one. There's no reason to have Roman go over Solo again. It takes away from Survivor Series War Game match. It takes away from that. So it has to be no DQ. Now, our main event, Gunther, the Raw World Heavyweight Champion, versus Cody, the SmackDown Undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion, for the Crown Jewel Championship. Once again, I'll say it like I said about Liv and Nia. This should be a lineal belt, like the ring does in boxing, the lineal champ. Whoever wins is the lineal champ, and they can cross over from each promotion. It now frees up Cody where you can see him on some Monday nights, or Gunther, you can see him on some Friday nights by winning this title. Who wins this match right here? Cody has not lost a match in a long time. I want to say Cody's last loss that I can remember was against Roman at Mania a year ago. Since that loss at Mania, he's been on a win streak. Gunther has not lost a match since losing to Sammy at WrestleMania this year to lose the IC title to go on to win the King of the Ring. He won the Rumble, won the King of the Ring, and now is the World Heavyweight Champ by beating Damian Priest. Who needs this win more to solidify them as a true champ? The pick is in. I am going to say, I really wish I can't. It's going to be Cody, but I don't see them having Cody lose clean to Gunther. I just can't see it. I'm sorry. I really want Gunther to win this because I think if Gunther beat Cody, and if this belt really has some thought, like I said, you're going to make him a lineal champ where he can bounce back and forth now by using this title as the leverage to bounce back and forth on both shows, then you have to go with Gunther. But being this is a prize possession belt to just say I'm the crown jewel, I beat the other guy, it's going to be Cody. Cody beats Gunther, and it's going to hurt Gunther, but it ain't going to hurt him that bad because Gunther will bounce back. He is the ring general. But if you were going to do it the right way, Gunther would need to go over. So those are my picks right there on WOD. Don't forget, drop your picks in the box. We covered so much this week on WOD. That's right. We want to thank you again for tuning in to WOD. Don't forget, following Crown Jewel, day cap, night cap will be on right here on Boom Broadcast. So definitely be checking out the Twitter feed, the Instagram feed, Mouth Off with Mike's feed to know what time he's going to be going live with the day cap, night cap of Crown Jewel. Don't forget, go back and check all the content this week that you may have missed on Boom Broadcasting. So many shows now, so definitely go back, check everybody's shows out. Don't forget, on everybody's shows this week, we need 50 more people first to be at 500. So make sure, tell your friends to come subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. And then guess what? Everybody this week, go back on everybody's show, give them the big thumbs up. Then don't forget, smash that like button because you like the video. That's the big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so every time something drops on Boom Broadcasting, you will get a notification to your device to tune in whenever you have time to watch it, or tune in if you do have time to watch it live. This is Shawn. This is WOD. I'm getting ready to go catch Crown Jewel, and we are out of here.